Welcome back everyone, Ronan here, and I just want to touch up on character creation and what we are able to do in the alpha right now. Mainly give a few ideas of classes you can start as, and what I like to do. Maybe you guys can share good class startups that maybe I've overlooked or that you think is really good. I'm gonna give about like maybe 4 examples. We did Ranger, Rogue, a Warrior. Let's do 2 different mages, which is nice. More or less, mages, you're gonna rely between human for the encourage and ingenious, and actually your human resolve. It's all around good. And lizards, I think this is where you're gonna dabble into. You're not really gonna want a dwarf. An elf could work though, because this could be good if you plan on doing DPS as a mage. And I mean, Corpse Eater gives you free spells, which is always nice. Like you can get Burn My Eyes, you can get Winged Feet. You can get a few more though. First Aid. So you don't need to learn those skills with the points. You'll just get them and still be able to use them because you've learned them through Corpse Eater. I mean, Witch is nice. It's good for poison. I would say Witch is more of a dot class. So it all depends on what you're looking for, and by dot class that means that you're probably not gonna kill them on that turn unless you have like fire or like right off the gate. Like you can build yourself a different way after. What would also be good is Wizard. Wizard, you start off with a ton of damage. Rain spells, sure, that's just to douse the flames after you've burnt everything. So you kind of lose out on one skill here. Battle Mage is nice. You may want to remove the dual wielding at some point, but be able to charge in, shock something. The only bad part is that if they have dual armor, you have to find a way to remove the armor before you use your shocking touch. Make it work. So if you charged in, you take away the physical armor, unless you're using a staff. If you're using a staff that counts as a melee weapon, that it's going to take away the magical armor. It takes on the weapon you're using. Same with Whirlwind, I believe. Probably Crippling Blow. These skills could change their damage based on the weapon you're using, which could then make you more effective at taking on adding CC, I should say. Cleric is really nice. I don't know if I'd consider that a mage, more of a warrior. Again, like Decaying Touch and healing restoration is so good. And here, this is why I was confused. Apparently, there's a description in Original Sin, Enhanced Edition. Curse a target with decay so it takes damage from healing. Doesn't say it takes double damage from healing. So apparently in EE it does specify that it does double damage. Enchantress. This is really good, especially for crowd control. You start off with the basics of what you need. And if you had somebody else with Decaying Touch, like if you had a cleric in your group, this would be a good start. The nice thing is hail is very hard to find in the game, so if you start with this, I don't think I've found a place to steal hail. Maybe in the shelter, like the Seeker's Shelter. Same with Decaying Touch, you can't get it until you get to the shelter. So if you plan your build around this, and everybody having a healing spell, which is a great idea, can't get those skills anywhere unless probably at the shelter. So that's a good way to start, and Losi it does start with this. So let's look at if you were making a mage. They're all going to be very similar except for pyro. If you were starting wizard and you're planning on doing pyromancies, a lot, like just playing out damage, it may play out differently. Let's say we're doing human. I mean, you get good stats, good start. That is all up to you. I don't plan on using my weapons all that much with a mage later on, so I'm not going to put any points here at all, actually. Unless you're a battle mage, which you may actually be upfront in hitting stuff. Then again, you can do two-handed with a staff, which would work. I don't know what dual wielding. I mean, it could work. Not gonna get any defenses. Arrow, Hydro. You can get your Soundro point right now for your Adrenaline and Poke and Dagger. You don't need to. Leadership. If this is your leadership class, this is what you can do. If you're human, start out with 2 leadership. Now, it's not gonna benefit you until you get to town and get your party of 4, but the way to do it. You could do your lore master. You need somebody to do it eventually, maybe not right out the gate, but Telekinesis is nice because it will remove the need for strength to pick up things. So you can always get one telekinesis, and then you don't need to do any strength to pick up anything. So it's handy that way. Again, because now you have a human, you don't need to put 2 points here. You could remove your point, put it in int. Int is going to be very important. So is memory later on. Constitution, you shouldn't be getting hit. Finesse and strength, you're not going to be using those stats. So you can go like with more wits, so you'll be hitting guaranteed. But then I wouldn't put too much, because for me, a mage is not the character I want to use to find secrets. Unless you use Burn My Eyes, I guess. Now, talent-wise, start with Fire Out Man. It's a really good skill. I would highly recommend it as a mage. Either that, on, unless you're making a pyro, don't bother with Savage Sortilege. With this particular build, I'm probably planning on doing crowd control. I will not get Warlord. I will let my rogue, my ranger, or warrior do the killing. Avoid zombie. Fuck zombie. Could get all skilled up. Actually, yes. So if you got all skilled up, when the game starts, you'll get a free point. We have a free point still. So that when the game starts, you put your point here, you're gonna get a free point. You're gonna get to leadership 3 right away. Huge boost. Because at level 3 level 3, you can get leadership 4, and already your team is gonna be like greatly boosted. So whoever you plan on doing your leadership with, this is a good start. You can always get Fire Out Man after, and you're only gonna get one more probably in the alpha. That's gonna be either the pawn. Yeah, probably the pawn Fire Out Man for a CC class. Now, if you turn this into a pyro, I would probably start with the wizard, because you already start with the skills you need to start a pyro. As a pyro, I would probably make an elf for this 25% damage boost. Risky, but it might just work out. Now here, it gives you arrow, hydro. I don't know how I feel about hydro. You're gonna be doing a lot of damage. You can always give the ring of Migo's ring for your healing needs. And then arrow thirds, you can always get the gloves. You don't need that right away. It's not a huge deal. This deals more damage to magic armor, so it's not bad. I wouldn't get any weapons, armor again. Lore Master, this really doesn't matter. You can get whatever you want here. It's not going to affect your damage, really. I have one more point. I guess Hydro is not bad, but you could always go for an extra Pyro point, because you'll do more fire damage. This stacks up really quick, because now we're already, I mean, plus 3 to 12. Oh, you can't. Okay, you can't go plus 2 at start. Okay, interesting. And you have to spend all your points before it lets you go, so you can't just cheese it by going accept, and then when you get out there, you put an extra point. Did not know this. You could go Geo, actually. Geo and Pyro go very well together. So you could use Fossil Strike, Searing Daggers, and if you still have points, then you could just throw a Poison Dart, and if the enemy's burning, then it's going to ignite it again and just do another explosion. So really good combinations there. And this, your focus is going to be damage. Here, remove your Constitution point, give it to Wits. You want that initiative. You don't want to get hit first. So here, you could get Fire Out Man. Yep. Since this is going to be a DPS mage, Warlord will be nice. You may not have all the skills right away. That's another problem with mages. If you go with Warlord, you might just do so many skills in one turn from killing that you won't be doing anything for the rest of the fight. So if you're fighting a really long fight with a lot of adds, that may not be recommended. But if you're fighting a fight with just a few enemies, it doesn't matter if you blow your load, because the fight's already won by having killed so many. What you'd want to do is actually maybe not having so much initiative with this character, so that you can not be ahead of your team, but enough to be ahead of the enemy. So be last in your team, but ahead of your enemies, so that other people can just teleport them in, put like 3 or 4 people together, and then you just move in and just like Fossil Strike, do Searing Daggers, then you'll do Fireball, Ignite, like just so much damage. This is what this class is for, just people setting you up, and you just clean it out. That is what this class is for. Savage Sortilege will be a big part of it, actually. So you could start with that. And as soon as you get to town, before you leave town, get yourself Rage. So for the abilities, you don't have to do it yet. You could do 1 Warfare so you can get Rage. Huge. Huge. Like, 50% crit chance on spells. Man, like, this is the damage class, damage range. So, hopefully this gives you a good idea as to how to start the game. You can start however you want. These are just recommendations from what I've tried, and they work really well. Cleric is probably my favorite, or Paladin. And Rogue. Depends on who I'm playing with. I like to be the Thief. You know, the Thief is very much a support out of combat, and then DPS in combat. Very nice. Very well played. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I really appreciate your support. I think that this game is amazing. Once it fully releases and I see that the Game Master is working, we're going to be doing a lot of co-op, a lot of hosting co-op games. PvP maybe. I really, really love it. I'm going to do some classes once I'm leveled. So give me a few days for that. I'm going to figure out time to... I have a few games already, but I don't know if they're optimized. And we'll cover on the skills more. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great night, everyone.